Hello, everybody. As you're coming in, my name is Donis, and I'm going to be your host for the day. And what I want to start out with is one, welcome. Welcome to our Cash for Christmas. Oh my gosh, this has been an amazing time. We've been on this journey for since Thanksgiving almost. And what we're here to do is to unwrap financial joy and gift yourself financial freedom this holiday season. So, as you're coming in, if you actually have not become a wealth creator, please use the QR code. And then, if you want to upgrade and become a VIP, please do that as first you have to become a wealth creator and then you upgrade to the VIP. And so for the next 5 days, we're going to meet here at noon each day, Pacific Standard Time. Please try to be here live with your cameras on so we can see your beautiful faces. And second, to keep up with the replays, if you can't be here, each day builds on the one before. And please do your homework. It'll actually increase your participation in what we're doing, and it'll increase your cash flow. All right. And so you can also create your own affiliate link. And then when you invite a buddy, you'll get a portion of the fee that they pay to be part of us. So that's what I have on the housekeeping tips for now. Also, if you stick around to the end of each day, we give away a $20 Amazon gift card. And then anybody who has been on each day, at the end of the week, we actually give away a grand prize, and you get to pick where you want to go, whether it be 3 or 7 days. It all depends on the destination. So, but you do have to be present to win. So please be on, be part, and let's see who wins. Woohoo! So now this is something that I get to say from my heart every time I introduce this wonderful woman. She has changed my life. She is a successful corporate recruiter who has now become an entrepreneur with a successful business of her own. She has taught me so much. And a little bit about my story. My husband is an entertainer. So when COVID locked down our country, we lost 16 months of paychecks. And so Lisa walked into my life. When the student is ready, the teacher will come. And so here she is. And she has taught me this wonderful business, in a sense, save my mentalness. And so now I give you my Lisa.
My Donis. I love how you say my Lisa. Hello, everybody. How's everyone doing? I'm so very grateful to be here and see all your beautiful faces and your smiles. By the way, if you are not naked right now, we'd love to have your camera on. We know that it's been proven statistically that if you first of all show up, which you so beautifully have shown up here, and then you actually engage and you take participation. In fact, if you haven't already, we want to know, where are you zooming in from? How do you serve your community? How do we get in touch with you? Let's create some new relationships this week, shall we? A raise of hands for those of you that have ever heard the concept, you can never have enough friends. Have you heard that before? This is something my mom always taught me. My sweet girl, Sierra, she asked her probably one of the earliest questions she asked her when she really could have conversations was, she said, Grammy, who's your best friend? And my mom always told her that her very best friend is Jesus, but she also believes that you can never have enough best friends. So for those of you that are new to our community, I can't wait to force you to be my friend for life. I can never have enough friends. And Donis is just a great example of that. She came into my life after a very, very big loss in my own life. I lost my mother and my best friend in the span of 10 months. And there was a very big hole in my heart. And Donis and a lot of other wonderful people have filled that heart. So I want to just thank you all for being here. We're going to have some fun this week. I want to encourage you, my friends, if you have limiting beliefs around wealth building, around your value, around your ability to make wise decisions about finances, I want you to leave those behind. Okay, you have my permission to leave those behind. There is a line that we are crossing today as we start this challenge. We're heading in to 2024. There's a line we're crossing. Raise of hands for those of you that have some financial goals that you're stepping into in 2024. Okay, every one of our hands should be raised, by the way, right? Whether you've written them down on paper or you've just had the thought, maybe you've been laying in bed at night and you've been worrying about money, right? Myself included, I've done that on many occasions in my life. You're going to learn a little bit about the story that I bring to the table throughout the week. But my point is, we all have a money story, and it gets to be a story of abundance. It gets to be a story of prosperity. And we are God's best idea. That's one of the things that we teach in our community. We believe that too many of God's children are living less than the life that they could be, right? Has anyone ever heard the idea that we are changed most by the people that we meet and the books that we read? Has anyone ever heard that before? Maybe you've thought of it yourself. And I want to tell you, this community is all about, first of all, changing our lifestyle in terms of the people that we surround ourselves with. If you maybe have friends or family, maybe you're in those Thanksgiving gatherings that you just left, or you're stepping into the holiday gatherings that are coming up in the next couple of weeks. Sometimes you walk into those conversations and you feel a little drained. Are there any energy vampires sometimes in your family gatherings, right? Any people that you meet that every time you hear from them, it's like something else has happened. There's another challenge that they're facing, right? This community, my friends, not to say that we will not face challenges. What does God say? God says that He promises us a good life, but He doesn't promise us an easy life, right? I believe we can never have enough people that are surrounding us with the ability to raise our positivity, raise the abundance in our lives, raise the vibration in our lives. My two favorite books that I'm reading right now. Well, my number one favorite book is my Bible. Okay. I have many Bibles spread around my home. One of my favorite Bibles is my mom's Bible. When she passed away, we probably found about 10 or 12 Bibles spread around the house. And I got one of them that she wrote many, many notes in her Bible. And so one of my practices now is when I study, I have my mom's Bible next to me and I have my Bible. And one of the things that she said in the very first part of her Bible is that if you find a Bible that's falling apart, the person that is using that Bible usually isn't. Okay. And I want to just, if you are maybe new to faith, or maybe God's been in your life, but you have a desire to go deeper, this is a community you're going to find that. Okay. And you may find it's a little different for somebody to be talking about the kingdom of God and finances. But guess what? He has a desire for all of his children to prosper, not just some of them. We're on a mission to create a tribe of 7-figure givers here in our community. We are using the tool and the services of financial products to do that, because it's the highest paid industry in the world. It's the industry that I spent 30 years in when I was in corporate. And so throughout this week, you're going to have a lot of tools that you're going to be given. You're going to be given some powerful lessons around how money works. You're going to be taught some very powerful ways how you can increase your cash flow this week by getting super, super clear about where your money's going. I want to give you a couple of tips about how to make the most use of this workshop. Would that be helpful to you guys, right? What we don't want to do is we do not want to be professional meeting attenders. Does that resonate with anyone? Has anyone ever, signed up for 42 workshops and make it to about 10% of them? And even in that, the ones that they attend, they're feeling guilty about the ones they didn't attend, instead of fully engaging with where you are today. God has you here for a very specific reason. I believe that. And so I want to give you a couple of tips. So first of all, have your notebooks out, my friends. You are going to be taking notes. For those of you that are joining us live, make sure you watch the replays because every day builds on itself, okay? As you are taking notes, there's a couple of things that I'd recommend. I want to have you suggest that you put an A next to something that you are taking action on, okay? That's A for action. I want you to put an AF next to an affirmation. Has anyone ever, does anyone already have the practice of affirmation building for yourself? Raise of hands for those of you. I know Margene, Cheryl, absolutely. So my friends, this is one of the most important lessons around wealth building, that if all you do is take away from this workshop, that you incorporate this into your life. And an affirmation is a lie sometimes that we tell ourselves until it becomes true. Does that resonate with anyone? Sometimes when you're creating an affirmation, you don't always believe it at first, right? There's many of you that I've been on personal calls with. I remember having a conversation with Melissa, and she's told me many times, Lisa, I'm not technical. And I challenged her. I simply add the words up until now, right? So if this is something that's new for you, I want to encourage you, incorporate this into your life. And the last one is put a couple of stars next to things that you want to go back to. You want to revisit, okay? And I'm telling you, this notebook that you're going to be creating for yourself, if you actually take the time to implement these strategies that we teach you, you would be amazed how much you can change in just a year. Oftentimes people far overestimate what they can do in a week or maybe 30 days, but then they far underestimate what they can accomplish in a year, okay? This series, we've actually been doing this series since March of this year. There's been over 700 students just in that time frame that have come in and started to raise their financial IQ together. So you're joining a really great community of people that just have a desire to do better with their money, do better with their finances, and add financial prosperity to their lives. So friends, we're going to start by, I would love to invite you to unmute yourselves for a minute. And we're going to start by one of my favorite things, which is declaring God's blessing over us. Okay. We're going to unmute ourselves together. And on three, we're going to speak this out loud together. Okay. So on three, 1, 2, 3. I declare
God's
incredible
blessings
blessings
over my life.
I will see
will
an
see an
explosion
explosion
of
of
God's
God's
goodness,
goodness,
God's
sudden
goodness,
widespread increase.
widespread increase.
I will
I will
experience
experience
The entire greatness
God's
of God's
favor.
favor
will elevate me
elevate
to
me
a
to a
higher
higher
level
level
I ever dreamed of.
Explosive
Blessings are coming my
my
way.
way.
This is my declaration.
Explosive. Did we hear it? Explosive blessings. Who's ready for some explosive blessings? Okay.
Yes, please.
Amen. Amen. So friends, I want to take you back a little bit. Okay. This is a picture of me when I was very unexpectedly. Do I have any single mamas on this call, or women that have been single maybe at one point? Okay. This was a picture of me. It was about 2 months after my husband left. I had a 3-month-old and a 3-year-old, very unexpectedly single mama. And I want you to think about a holiday in the past. Who were you with? How did you feel? Did you perhaps overspend a little bit? Did you do like I did, where I was overcompensating a little bit because I was so devastated that my sweet boys had to go to 2 houses for Christmas, right? And I want you to think about if that was the case. Maybe you have a Christmas, a holiday you remember where you wanted to buy some gifts for your family and you didn't have the money to do it. I've had this happen in my life as well, right? And if you did overspend, like I did way too often, how did that January bill make you feel? And then I want you to think about the holidays of the future, okay? The holidays where you have been a very good steward of your money. The holidays where you've actually spent a concerted effort to not only get really smart about your finances, but also increase your cash flow. You can either spend less or make more. Who thinks it sounds way more fun to make more, right? Who could benefit from adding an income stream to their lives in 2024? Raise of hands if that would benefit you. Okay. So I want to encourage you to think about, as you're walking through this workshop, the very first thing, I'm going to give you your first cash tip, number 1, cash flow increase number 1. Okay. We had over 80 people that registered for this challenge, by the way. 26 showed up, which is not too bad, in terms of the average. But I want you to consider what could happen if every one of you brought a buddy tomorrow. Okay. How many of your friends, how many of your family members also have that same goal? How many people do you know? I know you make more money than me, but you're always talking about never having any. Guess what that problem is? They don't know where their money's going, my friends, right? How many people do you know that talk about never having enough? These are the people that would benefit greatly from this workshop. How many mamas out there, how many grandparents would like their next generation to do better than them? Every one of us should raise our hands on that one. Of course, we want our next generation to be there. Whether you have children yourself, like me, I have 3 now. I switched husbands and I got my girl, by the way, if anyone needs a tip, sometimes you need to switch husbands to get your girl. I'm just teasing. It worked for me. It doesn't always work for everyone, right? But my friends, invite a buddy. I will tell you, the smarter you get, especially as you really learn to implement the strategies that we're going to teach you, you're going to want to talk about it. You're going to want to share the good news. Friends, this week you're going to be learning 5 ways to increase your cash flow. You're going to be learning a lot about our platform, which is a financial Amazon, our online business platform, which we teach families how to create their own Amazon in the financial industry, which is the highest paid industry in the world. We gave you a taste and see of what it looks like to be a financial coach, as many of us are. We also are teaching you about the concept of the human life value and what you can do when you actually start with protection first. Has anyone heard of that concept, protection first? I know Cheryl's heard of it. I know Donis. Many of us, by the way, the license that many of our agents hold is a life and health license. I am a life and health licensed professional. I'm licensed in every state. And I will tell you, this is one thing that the wealthy do really, really well, is they understand protection first. Raise of hands for those of you that agree that insurance in our world is probably something that's important to have, whether it's car insurance, home insurance. We have insurance these days on our phones, our televisions, right? Our computers. And isn't it interesting how that application applies when it comes to something like our vehicle, right? I know obviously it's a requirement to live in the US, right? But imagine the power of ensuring that every single wealth builder, every single wealth creator, which all of us are, also are protecting ourselves, because you can never replace the person that you've lost. You can never replace the loved one, but can you replace what those two hands could produce for your family? Can you replace that? Absolutely. So we talk a lot about protection first, but not just typical life insurance. We talk about how you can actually use this powerful tool to be your own banker. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. We have two main goals when, in our framework. That is, one is to help you increase your community, the people that you know, the people that you want to serve, right? For some of us, we have a really large market. For some of us, we have a very small market. One of our speakers, Colleen, who's on the call, she's going to be helping us, or later in the week, talk about how do we expand that, right? How do we do that? But ultimately, our main goal in our community is to help others generate more in their own lives so they can be more generous. Does anyone have a desire to be more financially generous? Raise of hands for those of you that resonates with. A lot of us are very generous. Don't get me wrong. We volunteer our time. We volunteer our energy, our ideas, right? We sit on boards. We show up at work, and we're the first one to organize the holiday party, what have you, right? But I find there's so many of us that have a desire to give more generously. And I will tell you, this business that we're in, my friends, not only is it a very great need in the country, but it's very, very well paid. So you're going to learn a little bit about that. So I want to kind of kick things off today by asking, have you ever thought about what your superpower is? I would love to know in the chat some of the things that you've been, this is the superpower is typically, if you were to call your best friends, maybe your one or your two best friends, and you would say, why are we friends? That's usually what your superpower is. Okay. I would love to see in the chat, what is your superpower? I've been told that my superpower by my friends is that I care deeply. And I love to laugh. I love to tell silly jokes. Margine, positive mental attitude. Absolutely. I know I have not known you for long, but I already know that about you. My smile, Lorena. Absolutely. You are a good listener, my dear. Inspiring, Annabelle. Absolutely. My friends, my point is, we all have something that just comes naturally to us. It's not difficult, right? It's part of our spirit. Choi said, am I saying that right, Choi? They say I'm a go-getter. Absolutely. I love that. Caring. I know you are, June. You are one of the most caring people I've ever had the privilege to know. Can-do attitude. So imagine you have these superpowers. Now I want to ask you a very serious question. Are you using your superpower to your fullest extent? Honestly, to the 110% that you know you're capable of. Are you using that superpower? Most of us, myself included, I would say are not, right? Most of us, maybe we're using it a little bit, but when it comes to actually growing our business, believe it or not, there's usually a little bit left in the that we could actually put in the car, right? The fuel for the fire, right? We oftentimes will be very, very, very much show up for others, but when it comes to our personal business, right? That's where oftentimes there's a lack. And I want you to think about, for an idea, if we've been told that we are God's masterpiece, which we believe it. Remember in Ephesians 2:10, you are God's masterpiece, right? If we've been told that and we believe it, which many of us do, the question is, why are we living less than? especially when it comes to our finances. I hear a lot of, I want to put in the chat if this resonates with any of you. Well, I've tried to build wealth before and I've lost. But that's me, yes, or a 1, what have you. Another one I've heard, I don't have a lot of extra income to invest. That's one I hear a lot, absolutely. I hear, well, I've never been smart with money. I always make bad decisions. I've gotten burned in the past. I've been taken advantage of in the past. All of these, Sharon says all of these. By the way, Sharon, you know how I came up with these? Because that's me too, all of them, absolutely. How about this one? This is interesting. I'm too old to learn something new. I also hear I'm too young to learn something new, right? Why would anyone trust me? I'm too young. I've made too many bad decisions. My friends, that is exactly what this challenge is designed to help you overcome, okay? Remember, we're crossing a line, okay? How many of you are familiar with a very famous woman? Actually, I'll start with a very famous book. It's called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Anyone familiar with that book? I think most entrepreneurs have at least heard of it. Maybe they haven't read it, but they've heard of it, right? This was a book that completely changed the landscape of entrepreneurship. It was way back in the 70s. And how many of you know that it was written by Robert Kiyosaki and a woman named Sharon Lechter? Okay. A lot of people know about Robert, not as many people know about Sharon. So don't you think we need to change that, first of all, right? Sharon is my money mentor. Many of you know she's part of our community. She's been a speaker with us. We're actually doing a book club in our community right now on her newest book, which another one of my favorite books, if you haven't picked it up yet, How Money Works for Women, Take Control or Lose It. I would encourage you, if you haven't gotten that book yet, put that on your reading list for 2024. And better yet, come and join our book club so you can help yourself implement it. But she talks about in that book that by 2030, women are expected to control 30 trillion of the financial assets in the US. So we're basically going to possess 2/3 of the wealth, friends. And my question to you is, are you ready for that responsibility? Are you ready for your friends that are going to be coming to you maybe and asking questions? If you have an opportunity to serve them, wouldn't you like to be able to do that? Wouldn't you like to be able to be a professional finger pointer, which I tell people, that's basically the skill set we get to learn in our community, is learn enough to know about what products and services can help people. Learn how to be a professional inviter, to encourage others to raise their financial IQ, and learn how to be a professional finger pointer. Because friends, we work with some of the largest financial firms on the planet that are bringing A-rated platinum products and providers to people, right? So wherever you're at this stage of your life, I want to just encourage you that I believe, and God believes, that you are meant for more. You are meant to make an impact on more lives. And the tool that we are using is the financial tool. If you were on a game of Family Feud, for example, okay, I want you to think about what would be the top 3 things that keep people up at night. Does anyone want to guess in the chat what those might be? Maria just had a little smile. Maria, what do you think it is? Money, yep. The source of the source, yep. Money, family, money, health. You got it, June. It is, the top 3 answers would be money, it would be health, and it would be relationships, right? We tackle all of these things, but the one that we put the most emphasis on is how can we all increase our financial IQ, get smarter with money, and do better in our lives so that we can create a ripple effect in the next generation. I'm curious, when you think about where you're at in this stage of your life, I would love to know, did you ever take that class, What Am I Supposed to Be When I Grow Up? Did anyone ever take that class? Well, it's because they didn't have it in school. Don't you think they should have it? Right? Did anyone ever take any personality profiles? Do you know what kind of personality style you are? I love personality profiles. Well, imagine if every one of us, really made a decision to whatever we've done in the past. Melissa, she dedicated her career to John Deere. Lorena's been in the distribution space. I was in financial services. I was a recruiter for 30 years. I found people jobs in this industry. Does anyone else want to? Donis and her husband have been entertainers for 20 years, right? There's so many different walks of life that we all come from. And I want you to consider, as a woman sitting on this workshop, as a woman or a man. I know we have some men that love us too that are here. We welcome you, Todd, and others. We know that we have financial sovereignty in our world that we can claim and that we can step into, and it will create a massive effect on our next generation. So that, for example, when you have children or grandchildren, instead of asking them, what do you want to be when you grow up? You can ask them, what kind of lifestyle do you want to live? Right? Do you want to live by the beach? Do you want to live by a lake in the mountains? Do you want to live in Paris? Right? These are the questions I would always tell my clients, instead of thinking about what do you want to be, what kind of lifestyle, because that should dictate what you do for a living, my friends. Very, very few employees have saved their way to wealth, right? Because there's three types of people, right? There's three people that work for someone else. There's people that work for themselves. And then there's people that put others to work. And that final one is really the one where wealth is built. So raise up hands for those of you that are currently still employees somewhere. You have a job somewhere, you're getting a W-2, right? There's probably about 50% usually that attend this workshop are still doing that. And I want to applaud you, because the first step you've taken is realizing that this W-2 single source of income is not going to get me where I want to be, which is financially free and financially at peace. Would you agree that most people have two desires in life? They want to be happy. They want to find joy in their lives. And right along with that comes some element of financial peace, financial prosperity, right? So does it make sense if each one of us wants to be joyful, wants to find happiness, and we want to be financially at peace? Doesn't it make sense that learning how money works gets to be part of that, right? So right now, that's the first step. We talked to you about community. We talked to you about bringing a buddy, making sure that you have some accountability. We teach a lot about this book, the cash flow quadrant, that was taught about in Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Right now, 90% of America, my friends, is on the left side of the quadrant. They're in a salaried or commission job like I was, right? They were limited. It was very self-driven income. It was based on what our two hands could produce. And it definitely stopped when we stopped. And yet there was also massive risk at any moment of being unemployed, right? My sweet husband, in fact, we've been in the recruiting industry collectively for 35 years. I retired a year ago, and he was still in the industry. And a month ago, he got laid off. And it was so interesting because I personally was like, oh, yes, God, I am so excited what you're going to do now. Now that, anyone have a husband that they're, or a partner that Their love language is not love language, but their communication model is certainty. They like to be certain about how things are, right? That's my husband. And that's in almost every partnership, there's one person that their basic human need is certainty. Okay. Now, is there anything in life that's more uncertain than a job when you really think about it, right? So, it's such an exciting time to see what God is going to do and is already doing for my sweet husband. 30 years of helping other people find jobs, and he's never been in this situation before. And guess what he's doing? He's completely embraced the idea of hiring himself. He's going to continue to recruiting, but he's going to do it for us. We've owned a recruiting firm for a couple of years now, but it's never been something he's done 100% of the time, right? So I'm so excited. You guys all get to come along on the journey with us as he continues to, build this new world for himself. But I will tell you, my goal for all of you, just like my husband and I have done, is move our way to the right side of the quadrant. The income is unlimited. It's very system driven. When you learn it, you can rely on it, right? It continues when we stop. It creates massive passive income. And it's also sellable and it's also transferable. So I encourage you, if you're a business owner right now, one of the things you're going to have in your homework today is you're going to really take a close look at what is my current business system. If I am a business owner already, if I'm new to business ownership, friends, you're going to learn about our system. You're going to be invited to be part of that. So don't worry if it's, this is all new to you. That's all we teach our students, is how they can move from the left side of the quadrant to the right side of the quadrant. One of the most powerful things that we teach people is, first of all, where are you going? If you don't know what your money's doing, for example, you're going to be in trouble. Okay. So that's one of the first homework assignments you're going to have this week, is you're going to get really clear. A lot of our students have already done this. And I will want to warn you in advance, this can be a little painful. If you haven't, for example, been really good at budgeting in the past, if you maybe don't know what bills are going out specifically every month, you're going to learn about that. One of the things that we teach you in our community is, what is your financial independence number? All that is, it's simply a bucket of money that once you hit that bucket, then you are going to be able to live off the interest. You're not going to run out. Every one of us has one. And yet, isn't it interesting how so few of us actually know what our FIN number is? Imagine, I have this dream that every high school graduate, for example, knows what their destination number is. How much more likely is it that they're going to get there, right? If they know that number. We're going to talk a lot about the fact that most people, we're living in a world right now that I've been sitting down with families now for about 6 years, going through their finances, helping them identify where is their money going, and coming up with great financial plans. And yet the number one problem that most families face, raise your hand if this resonates, they just need to make more money, period, the end. They just need to increase their cash flow, right? So I want to introduce you to a gentleman that is a mentor of mine. His name is Jeff Levitan. Jeff is one of the mentors in my business, my financial practice. He does about 220 million a year, right, in his business, just helping families, protect families, setting up retirement accounts, protecting families with wills and trusts, life insurance, all the financial products that we have. He retired a year ago and he started a Better Life company. Better Life is really more of a movement. It's a movement to empower us as business owners, as families running our own economy, with knowledge and tools and services to save money, increase our income, and have a better quality of life. Just by participating in this challenge, all of you have been enrolled in this. If you haven't already received your links, you will. You know, it's very easy. It's free to join. It doesn't cost you anything. But this week we're going to be talking about this platform. We're going to show you very tactical, practical ways that you, as an affiliate with our firm, can first of all help yourself. You know, every day this week we're going to learn a little bit about some of the products and services that this platform provides. And I always tell people, you know, first identify, is there something I could benefit from? I'll give you an example. Many years ago, I had $70,000 in credit card debt, burdening me. This is what was keeping me up at night, right? I connected with a program similar to the one that we have on Bettr, and I released that, right? I released myself of that burden. So you're going to learn about these products this week. And first of all, if there's something that you could benefit from, sign yourself up, right? Get paid on your own business, be paid on your own referral. That's one of the best ways you can do. And then as you continue to learn this week, friends, just remember, it's very simple. This particular company does not require a license, for example. You know, not everybody chooses to do the whole portfolio of our menu and get licensed. So this part does not require a license. It's very easy. Once you've signed up, you're going to be learning about the providers this week that we offer. You're going to decide what makes sense for you, and you're going to help people that in your community that could benefit. It's very, very simple. Okay. I want to have you take a picture of this because we want to make sure that we are getting to know each of you personally as well. Okay. Either hover over this and get to the link. Donis, if you could also put the link in the chat for people if they don't have their cameras or they're on their cameras, for example. We want to make sure and help you get off to a fast start with your Bettr business. There's the timing of our challenge this week is really awesome because we actually have an Elevate call with the founder of the company, which is on December 13th at 10 a.m. that you're all going to get invited to. So that would also be a great thing to do is attend that call. You're going to learn a lot this week, but hearing it directly from the founder, Jeff, is pretty amazing. Okay. So be sure and schedule time with our team. We want to know you more. We want to understand who are you coming into this, you know, this challenge, and who do you want to be when you leave the challenge? How can we support you in that journey? Okay. And speaking of community, okay, I get the pleasure now for our last 15 minutes to pass the baton to one of my dear friends, one of our financial coaches in our community here. And I will tell you, Lorena is a great example of when you go into a community and you make a decision to get to know the community, you make a decision to plant your flag somewhere. Okay. Lorena and I had the blessing to meet on, it was actually another community called Hardcore Leadership. We both committed to this very, very intense workshop. I always, anyone else from HCL, or have you been part of HCL? Okay, so anytime I meet someone from HCL, you immediately go up in my street cred, how I view you, because it is an intense workshop, isn't it, Lorena? And, you know, Lorena has such a beautiful gift of, she's one of the most authentic women I know in terms of who she knows that who she is and who she is becoming, right? Who she shows up as. And she's going to give us a little lesson about, you know, relationships and money, you know, where's my starting point, all that good stuff. So Lorena, I'm going to pass the baton to you, my dear. I'm going to did we already make you co-host? I want to make sure you're given ability to share as well. Let's make sure we do that.
Thank
There
you.
you are. You're in driver's seat, honey.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Lisa, for having me. I love this space. I love connecting with community. If you want to share your slides, do you have the slides that I added with the relationship on money?
I do. Let
Okay,
me fill it
perfect.
up.
Feel free to share that. Yes, awesome. Look at that picture. I love that implies balance to me. But before, and I'm gonna open up here my grid to see all of you. And you might not see me, or you might see me very little. But there we go. I love it. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Show me those smiles. I said that my superpower is a smile, so I want to see everyone else's too, because that is something we all have, the smile there. Let me move my mic. Can you hear me well enough? Awesome. Thank you. Now, this is what I want everyone to do. I want you to show me your hands and show me your fingers, because in this training, what we're going to do is we're going to interact. I want to hear from you the answers of the questions I'm going to be posting. This is a topic that I think gets us all. Like, we all can get into conversation when we talk about relationship and money. So before I talk about the myth that I want to uncover with these fingers, I'm going to ask 3 questions for us to assess what is my starting point in relationships and money. And if you want to use any other words, relationships and finances, finances and relationship, how is my finances affecting my family relationships? You use the words that you want to use. They're all labels. And there's a point when we hear ourselves and we start listening to all the labels we use, and that's where we get to assess where we're at. So that's my invitation to you. So first question, have you been very stressed or irritable lately in your relationships? Put 1 for yes, 2 for maybe, 3 for no. Let's see, I'm going to be paying attention to the chat a little bit. Okay. That, my sweet people, means that you're being honest with yourself. And if for whatever reason you're having a hard time connecting with the answers, I want you to consider using your time machine. This is what I call time machine, your mind. Because believe it or not, you can travel to the past, to the present, to the future, all using your imagination, your mind. So go to the last 3 interactions with a person, a relationship that you can think of that comes to mind, and ask yourself again that question: have I been stressed or irritable lately? And this is just for you. This is heart to heart with yourself. That's my invitation. No one here is going to judge, and there's no right and there's no wrong answer. This is your perception, and that's where we're going to get to in this last 3 or in my 3 slides. Second question. I have taken my spouse for granted. I have taken my children for granted. 1 for yes, 2 for maybe, 3 for no. Please use the fingers. By the way, I don't know if you noticed, but I have a jingle. Yes, Lisa. Lisa, do you have a comment or question?
Oh, I was just definitely saying number 1 for me.
Oh. She was really using the fingers, not for typing, but like, yes. Let me be totally honest with myself and with you, just so you know you're not alone. I'm here, number 1. And the last question. Consider for yourself. I have not shared very much of my inner world with the people in my circle. Yes for 1, 2 for maybe, 1 for yes, 2 for maybe, 3 for no, I don't agree. All right, I'm looking at the answers. Excellent. And this is the beauty of how we can use this information to continue growing. The invitation Lisa has been placing for us to consider, to evaluate, to look at the quadrants, to understand where we're at with money. It comes down to becoming honest with yourself and see where you're at. So in relationships, in the next slide, I'm going to show you what is that myth, and save those answers for yourself, because you get to shift the perspective on what's going to happen next in your relationship. So the myth is, I'm sure you've heard it before, my relationships will improve when I have money or when I have more money. Who can agree? Put money in the chat if you agree with this statement. Annabelle, thank you for Ibiki. Yes, yes. I was there. My story is that I always thought that my life will improve and my relationships will improve. My parenting skills will improve if I had money. Yet, after becoming more honest with myself, listening to the labels I was using, and getting in circles in communities like this, I learned a new thought. I improve my relationships and my finances will follow. So this is an sorry, an interception. No, that's full. Well, hold on. It's an interruption. There we go. The right word came out. It's an interruption to your myth, because we don't get to wait for money to show up in order for us to be happy, in order for us to have better relationships, in order for us to show our generosity. Lisa said it, we can be generous with time. It will be awesome. I have a goal for 2024 to become more generous financially with money, really sharing my resources. Yet that doesn't stop me from being generous with my heart and with my time and with my skills and with my listening. I said that one of my superpowers is to listen or to be a good listener. And that's my invitation for you today. If you would, to improve your relationships before you start getting this money that you're going to get because you're here in this challenge. So I know your cash flow is going to improve for sure. Like that's a declaration, the affirmations Lisa was talking about. If you would, to improve your relationships, where would you start? Anyone has any ideas? Raise your hand. I'll let you share. No? Mindset, family, June, meaningful time schedules, mindset. Yes, it is a choice. When I read mindset, in my head, it always show up the word choice. I get to choose. That's in my mind. So using the time machines, if you would to go to those answers you gave me earlier today, 1, 2, or 3, being I am stressed out in my relationships or not, or maybe what is one step that you can take to shift that and improve the relationship first? So then here's the key. Once you start improving relationships, stress goes down, emotions get balanced, and you have more energy and time to dedicate to this challenge, to do the homework, to take action, to be present with your money, with your finances. So it is wonderful how everything starts shifting just by shifting one myth and being committed to a new thought. I can improve my relationships and my finances will follow. So I just want to celebrate you. This is how we celebrate in the leadership community, HCL. You know what I'm doing? Yes, exactly. And with these 2 hands that I made you show me earlier today, I want you to just grab one, left or right, doesn't matter. Just grab one, put it in front of you, bend your elbow 90 degrees. Thank you everyone for playing. And then take it all the way to the back and pat yourself. That's right. If nothing else sticks, at least remember to pat yourself because you deserve to give yourself credit for all that you do and especially for showing up for yourself. Thank you so much for allowing me to share this with you.
Oh, I love that so much. Lorena and I were, we had lunch earlier this last week, and I was thinking about just how much we are so blessed that we live near one another, we can fellowship in person. And I just thought of this when you were sharing this, Lorena. I've never considered the power of just shifting our relationships and our finances will follow. I have never thought about that. I've done exactly what you said earlier, which was, yeah, we got to focus on our finances and everything else will get better. I'm so excited to share this with my husband tonight because I know that this is going to mean
Good.
something to him too.
That is
Thank you, my
so
dear. Thank you
awesome.
so much.
You're
You're
welcome.
amazing.
And I have 3 assessments that I'm so sorry I didn't have enough time to share, but I have the full assessment of where you're at in your relationships and how that is bringing stress into your finances. That is number 1. Number 2, which is super cool, 20 journaling prompts to improve your relationship with money. And the last one is, how are you really? And it's an assessment to understand yourself and how are you truly, if you're being honest with yourself, how you're doing nowadays in the season. If you want any of these 3 assessments, find me on Instagram, send me a message, and I will send you the links to it.
Love it. And Lorena, I forget, do you have a link you want people to opt in as well? Did you include
Yeah.
that on your, because we can make sure we send that out to people as well if you have it.
Okay, I didn't include it, but I'm putting it in the chat right now. This is a
Okay.
group where we're bringing the challenge into the group. We're taking action together. And most of all, which Lisa already invited us to have, is the body for accountability. So this group is where we are showing up accountable to take action. And if you don't take action, you might hear someone saying, hey, what's going on? You know, we want to be present for each other. We're building community and relationships.
And friends, I want you to, this is one of the main reasons I have people from our community share. Lorena, when she and I met, we were both in very different businesses, different, but the same. There was alignment around our belief system. There was alignment around who we were serving. And this is just a great example. Lorena has her own business that she has taken our platform and she's folded into what she's already doing. She's not replacing, we're locking arms together as women. One of the things that we do in our community we're doing right now is our How Money Works book club. And at lunch last week, she told me, Lisa, I've done, several book clubs on how Think and Grow Rich for women. And I didn't know that, so we talked about, guess what? Our next book gets to be that. And Lorena's going to bring her genius and her ideas, which we invite all of you to consider. When becoming part of our community, we are very much a family. We believe women are better when we lock arms together. Women and the men that love us, and the partners that we have, we're so much better when we're doing things together. So Lorena, thank you, my dear, for you just being you, everything you are. You bring so much to our community. I love you. Thank you for sharing, honey.
Thank you so much. Besitos.
Un besito, un besito. What my daughter always used to come up and say, Mama, un besito? Is it
Besito,
one kiss,
that's
little
right.
kiss?
Yes, a little kiss.
Right. I love it.
Or, patting
Okay,
yourself.
friends. So our last couple of minutes, we're going to make a couple of quick announcements and then we're going to do our drawing. We can't forget one of my favorite part, which is the prizes. So in your portal, friends, there's a couple of giveaways that I want to make sure you draw your attention to. We have a really wonderful book I would recommend that each of you download. It's called The Power of Zero. This talks a little bit more deeply about one of the concepts we'll be diving into later in the week about how it really is in your control how much of your hard-earned money the IRS gets now and in the future, okay? And then you also have the gift of a couple of chapters of my book, which is Conversations with an Angel. And also remind you, if you aren't a VIP yet, it's not too late. This Fight VIP, it's a whopping $17.87. People laugh. Where did that number come from, Lisa? It was the first commission check that I ever received as a commission salesperson. So I brought that out as our VIP charge. And so friends, if you do upgrade, you actually have access to all 10 months of our challenges that we've done. And we're also going to be having a happy hour at the end of our session on Friday. You also get a session with our Wealth Creator team to show you how to actually create your own tax-free family bank. And you also get a career strategy session with myself, where I actually go into a little deeper about how you can come in with the skills and abilities and business and tools that you already have, and how you can get off to a really fast start with us. Okay, so now we are going to have June bring up our giveaway, and let's see who our lucky winner is today.
I don't
June,
know
you
if
ready?
you make me a host or not, but can you see my screen or pin me?
Let's see. Let me pin you. Where are you? Let me find you.
Look for the wheel.
Oh, there you are. Okay, let's just pin you. That'll probably be easier. There we go. Who's our lucky winner today? We love giving money away. Lisa, what a beautiful name you have. Lisa Harmer. How do you say that, my dear? Are you able to unmute? Congratulations. So happy to have you. Well, friends, as we are wrapping up today, I wanted to share what to be looking for in next tomorrow. We have, oh my gosh, you do not want to miss my friend Daniel. Talk about a man on fire for God, on fire for helping raise the financial IQ of families and their wealth abundance mindset. He's known as the Millionaire Mindset Mentor. So be sure you join us tomorrow. And your homework tonight, you'll actually be getting a little worksheet about, where is my money today? And your other homework is bring a buddy. I want to challenge every one of you, whether it's give a call to a friend or send them a text, let them know that you want them to come and raise their financial IQ with you. You want to help them step into 2024 with financial prosperity, just like you are starting to achieve yourself. So friends, thank you for joining us today. I can't wait to see you tomorrow. Blessings in this amazing life journey. We'll see you soon.